everyone, my name is Vina, aka Miss WOC Reader, and welcome back to my channel. So, the book community gives me whiplash. Like, last week everyone was so happy about just going to shelves in the city or begging to be on future shelves in the city, and they were okay with getting paid in the form of exposure and a free trip, which really isn't payment at all. And then this week everybody's like, I need to be paid. I need to be paid by authors. I need to be paid by publishers. I need to be paid for my book reviews. This is a cyclical conversation that comes up all the time. And it's kind of a slippery slope. And I have been seeing this conversation go on for days on Threads. So one interesting point that I wanted to touch upon is I saw a post that said that paid reviews aren't actually illegal. That's just Amazon's guidelines. Pause. While paid reviews aren't actually illegal, they do go against the FTC's guidelines, not just Amazon. That means everybody's sites. And why the FTC can come in and fine you up to $50,000 for an undisclosed paid review. That's generally not a practice that you're supposed to take. And I remember I ran into this issue with an author whose name I am honestly forgetting a couple of years ago, where she was asking people to send videos of like reviews of her book in exchange to be entered in a raffle for Beyonce tickets. I remember I didn't even mention her name on Twitter. I just mentioned the scenario. One of her friends came on yapping like a chihuahua, talking about my friend can do whatever she wants. She's not going to get in trouble. She's big as this. Well, her friend ended up deleting everything involving the contest that she was running that was requiring reviews in exchange to be entered for tickets for this concert, because it was going against the FTC's guidelines. So that is just one obstacle that you need to overcome if you are trying to seek payment in this area. And as somebody who has been talking about books online for going on almost 6 years, I understand wanting some kind of compensation because you do put in work. I have put in a lot of work over the years, reviewing books. I've interviewed authors. I have talked to publishers and agreed to make certain posts on certain days, things like that. And it is definitely work. Right now, I've kind of had to take a step back. I haven't been doing as much because I'm working full time while trying to also look for another job. So that's just been a lot. But I definitely understand putting in the work. Now, I saw somebody say, why should authors get paid for books but not book reviewers get paid for their reviews? That just made me laugh because that's just such a ridiculous comparison. It's like comparing apples to oranges. And I say that to somebody who's been on both sides. So I am working on a book currently. Some of you have been following me along on that journey and I really appreciate it. But the amount of time that I've put into writing the book does not compare to the amount of time that I put into writing a review. During the time that I spent writing just the first draft of my book, I've written at least 100 reviews. It does not take that long. It takes some time. But realistically, it does not take as long as writing a book. And I'm just giving you something quick. Like, if people want to post reviews on their Substack and have people subscribe and pay for that, go right ahead. You are free to do that. But it's just not comparable to me putting a full-length story together and selling it to you. They're definitely going to be at different price points. And I haven't really seen too much discussion about how people would price these reviews that they want authors and publishers to pay for. Because for one, authors just don't have a lot of money. This is generally an industry that does not pay well. Don't let the few at the top fool you. Most traditional published authors do not have the money to pay anybody for promotion. A lot of indie authors also don't have that money to pay people for promotion. And most of the time the publishers aren't even trying to do the bare minimum of promotion that they need to do. So I'm like, who are you expecting to pay you for your reviews? And what is that review supposed to look like? Like, what type of verbiage does it have to have in it? Because a lot of people's, what they're calling a review is them sitting down in front of a camera like I'm doing now on TikTok, picking up their book and being like, oh my gosh, have you heard of this book? You have to read this book. Chef's Kiss, 5 stars. I loved it so much. Book of the year. And that's all they tell you about the book. Nothing about the plot, nothing about the themes. Not really too much about how it made them feel while reading. Bare minimum. And again, I've been in this space for a minute. I understand the enthusiasm for books, but lately it seems like the community has been focusing more and more on how can I get paid for talking about books, which is starting to take the love and joy out of the community because everybody is chasing a bag. And I understand times are difficult. I want to be paid a living wage. You want to be paid a living wage. If you are trying to be paid a living wage off of influencing, this is the wrong niche. I've seen people say they had to go back to working full time because there was a spike in 2020 of people tuning into book content. And then as the world opened up again, we were outside more, their audience kind of dwindled and their views dropped significantly. If you can put together a platform where you can make money talking about books with an audience, go right ahead. But the entitlement I'm seeing in this whole conversation, demanding that authors pay you, is a little ridiculous. Especially because if you're going to come here and say that you're moving the needle, you need to come with stats. What are your affiliate links looking like? One thing I noticed about the book community too is, yes, we have affiliate links like to bookshop.org, Libro.fm, Amazon, but people don't use affiliate links as much as they do in the beauty community. And I think one difference with the beauty community is they'll have like an affiliate code that will get people a percentage off of their purchase directly with like the brand that they're working with, which makes a significant difference. We aren't getting codes for like 30% off of the HarperCollins website. Even though they do ship books there, generally people are not buying their books directly from the website. And then certain publishers, you go to their website and it's just links to the various places to buy books. So it's not exactly the same. And it's harder to measure because people in this community are so adverse to clicking on affiliate links. I remember when Instagram/Bookstagrammers did their town hall a few years ago. It was great because somebody came as a representative for the publisher who also worked in the beauty community recently and kind of broke it down, like how they measure things. And I found the whole conversation fascinating because you really do need to prove, like, I'm moving the needle. A lot of the books that I've seen people claim they move the needle on, you look at the actual sales and not really. And I'm not saying that to be shady. I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm just saying because it's a fact. You need to be able to prove that you are actually generating sales, because also, what's stopping somebody from just going to buy that book in the bookstore? And then we can say the bookseller influenced them. With Udi, you're kind of able a little bit more to measure it based off of how much of that product is selling out right away. With books, it's harder because like the sales don't always go the way people expect. People are more likely to buy products that they can get multi-use out of versus a book, especially at the prices that are being charged in this economy. Like, for the most part, you're reading a book, you're reading it a couple of times. You're not reading it over and over and over again. Even if it's a book you love and you love to read every year, you're not reading it every month. So, whereas I can go buy a bottle of shampoo and I'm going to use it consistently, then go out and buy another bottle of shampoo like not too far after, and keep generating consistent sales. You're not buying multiple of the same book usually. I know a lot of people in this community do, but we are an exception, not a rule. Most people who are just general book lovers, they're not buying multiple copies of a book. So again, it becomes like really hard to prove what exactly the impact is when you're not seeing like a huge like leap in the sales for a book. It's one thing if you have like a breakout book that generated a lot of hype, like Fourth Wing, for example. Massive sales. And even then, with Fourth Wing, a lot of the massive sales for it, it's word of mouth. It's not just like a few influencers. It's regular people talking about the book. It's celebrities. That is something that just has its own following. It's like the word of mouth is pushing it just as much as influencers. I haven't really seen any hard stats for how much book influencers actually impact sales. And I would actually love to see some, because I did see some stats, but the math wasn't mathing for me for how they got to that number. And again, it wasn't adding up. It wasn't making sense. And this is a situation where you need to come with the facts. There's also an issue of the volume of reviews that you can put out a month, because there's only so many books that you can read during a month, especially if you are not a full-time, this is your sole complete job reviewer. It takes time to read a book. It takes a lot of hours to read a book. It's not like using a new lotion where you can put it on a couple of times and be like good to go and show people how amazing it is, how it kept your skin so soft. Like, other niches can put out a lot of content quickly, whereas it takes us so much longer to be able to give you guys details on these books that we read. So let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below about this discussion. If you like this video, make sure and hit that like button. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!